Hello everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S25 FE and compare it against the Google Pixel 10 and see which particular device is the better one for you. Now, the thing I can definitely tell you behind both of these particular devices is that they're both very good, they're both very similar, and if you're going to pick up either one of these phones, I definitely do think there is a lot of overlap here, but at the same time, there might be some that are better than the other ones. We'll go and take a look at both. If you want to pick up either one of these particular devices though, links will be down in the description below. You can get that from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular devices. The Google Pixel 10 is both these phones are very new, but both these devices are also very, nice in their own ways. The Pixel 10 just came out in last month, and it's going to be giving you a 6.3-inch OLED display. So this type of panel is significantly smaller than something like an S25 FE, and that could be a good thing probably for a lot of people, because if you're trying to go through and just pick up a device that is going to kind of be giving you a better type of experience, well, at least with something like an S25 FE, it is going to be giving you a really good type of phone, but the Pixel 10 is definitely smaller. 6.3-inch OLED display, 3000 nits of brightness, 120 Hz. So that type of panel is still going to be giving you a pretty good type of experience for the most part. And I definitely do think that is kind of a nice thing going on for this type of device. You also have to remember that within these types of devices, something like an S25 FE is bigger, so you might actually prefer a device like that over something like a Pixel 10, but I will still tell you from what I can tell, the the Pixel 10's display is still going to be very good for even it being a little bit smaller. Now with something like the Galaxy S25 FE, you're going to be seeing here a 6.7-inch dynamic L2PO AMOLED display. So that type of panel I think is actually very good when it comes down to it as well. So this type of panel is giving you 1900 nits of peak brightness and it's 120 Hz. Now there's some things here. The S25 FE's panel, as of this point, it's not terrible, right? Like I said, it's good, but there's definitely panels out there that are definitely better. I think the Pixel 10's panel is definitely significantly better than something like in this case the S25 FE. So is it the biggest deal in the world? I'm not too sure, but it definitely is going to be one of those key things that you might have to keep in mind here if you're going to go through and pick up a device. So from that side too, that is kind of one of those big things to keep in mind there from that particular perspective. Now on top of that, both are giving you USB-C, they're both giving you wireless charging, they're both also giving you reverse wireless charging, which is really nice. I love having reverse wireless charging, and you are definitely going to be getting that here inside of these types of devices as well. The backside, you're also getting these glass backs, but the S25 FE is giving you a frosted glass back. The Pixel 10 is a solid glass back, which is also another kind of nice thing going on for this type of device when it comes down to it as well. And the build qualities are very similar because they both feel like very flagship type of devices. I do think that is kind of a nice thing going on here as well. And if you're going to go through and pick up some sort of a device, it is nice to be able to go through and pick up a phone that is going to be giving you a good type of experience from that side. So I will tell you, if you're going to go through pick up any type of device here, picking up something like a Samsung Galaxy S25 FE, it might feel like a more expensive device all throughout because of the frosted glass back, but I will tell you something like the Pixel 10 is probably going to feel more like a flagship device, especially when it comes down to that type of display, because the display inside of that phone is actually very nice, and I definitely do think that is a really cool asset for that type of device when it comes down to it to that side. So from that particular side, that kind of covers it up there for the most part. Now, another really important thing to keep in mind here between these types of devices as well is the fact that when it kind of comes down to their cameras. So the cameras inside of these devices, right, are going to be pretty good when it kind of comes down to it. If you're going to go through and pick up really any sort of camera like this, both these cameras are going to be pretty good. So the S25 FE is giving you this triple camera setup, and the Pixel 10 is also giving you a triple camera setup at that as well. So like I mentioned, I think that's a really nice thing. You're getting 8K capability on the back of the S25 FE, where you're only able to get 4K at 60 on the Google Pixel 10. I keep getting these two things mixed up. So in the Pixel 10, 4K at 60, S25 FE, 8K capability. So again, it really is just kind of dependent on how you kind of take a look at it, but I would probably look at these types of devices and probably think to myself, it would be nicer to be able to get a phone with 8K, and that is kind of what's going on with something like a S25 FE. So from that side too, it really is just dependent on how you kind of want to take a look at it. But if I'm about to go through and pick up a device, I do think the S25 FE's camera is overall better, but I would still say something like a Pixel 10's camera is still pretty good too. you're not going to be running into like too many problems there. And if you are going to go through and pick up a device, I definitely do think something like a Pixel 10's camera is still very good as well. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. Now, on top of that, another important thing to keep in mind here as well is basically when it comes down to their software longevity. And you have to remember, both these devices are going to be supported with software for many, many years now. And that is something that's actually very nice to keep in mind here, because both these devices are still going to be supported for like a long period of time. And I do think that is something that's actually really nice. So it's not like either one of these devices are going to be, like unsupported, or they're going to be like running into any issues or anything like that. Both these devices still have a very long lifespan ahead of it. And I do think that right there is a very nice thing to keep in mind there as well. So if you're going to go through and like pick up a device, I feel like, both these phones, you can't really miss from that standpoint. So kind of keep that in mind as well. Like if you're trying to go through and pick up a phone, that is going to be a pretty good type of phone to be able to pick on both of them, in my personal opinion, because they're both going to be giving you like a good type of experience. So it's not really that much to really hate on from that particular side either. Now, when it kind of comes down to their, battery life, the Pixel 10 is going to be giving you a 4,970 mAh battery, where the Galaxy S25 FE is giving you a 4,900 mAh battery. So again, this is going to be kind of dependent on how you kind of want to take a look at it. Again, I would say that both these types of devices are still going to be able to give you like a good type of experience. It's really just dependent on how you, again, are going to kind of take a look at it. But there's not really that much of a difference from the battery life, at least as far as I can kind of test it. Now, on top of that, another important thing to keep in mind here as well is the performance. The Pixel 10 is giving you that Google Tensor G5 chipset inside with 12 gigabytes of RAM, where the S25 FE's performance is basically giving you a Exynos 2400 chipset inside with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So this one is going to be a little bit more dependent on how you're going to kind of take a look at it, right? Because I'm not really too sure which one is going to be. I would probably say that S25 FE is not going to be as fast as the Pixel 10. Like the Pixel 10 has a higher likelihood of giving you a better type of experience. And I feel like that right there is going to be one of the bigger areas where you can kind of take a look at and probably think to yourself that it is going to be a better type of device. But at the same time, I would probably tell you, maybe a device like a Galaxy S25 FE could be better in some ways, but I would probably still say the S25 FE is probably not going to be as fast as the Google Pixel 10. So from that side, to kind of sum it up, what I'll definitely tell you is that I do think both these types of devices do kind of give you like a good type of experience for kind of what you're getting. I feel like if you're going to go through and pick up a device, there's not really that much to hate on here. And I feel like that right there is a very nice, important thing to keep in mind. But I would probably also say that if you're going to go through and pick up either one of these phones, I do feel like these two types of devices, they're very similar. I feel like you might as well go for either like a Pixel 10 Pro kind of situation, or you should go through and buy something like a Galaxy S25. I feel like a Galaxy S25 would be better, and that's like a significantly better device than even both of these. Or even like an iPhone 16 Pro or Google Pixel 10 Pro. Those are the types of devices that I recommend hitting on, or a 17. But either way, you can't really go wrong with either one of these. And if I had to pick up one, I think I'd probably have a Google Pixel 10 than a Galaxy S25 FE. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.